What's up, everybody? Mike Dussault, Evan Lazar. We're down here on the practice fields behind Gillette Stadium as the Patriots just wrapped up minicamp. Evan, it's been a long spring, multiple OTA practices. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I feel a little bit like the rookies who have been here for nonstop 6 weeks at this point. They're going to be here for 2 more weeks, that Drake Maye told us. So it's a long haul for all of them, but that's what came to mind immediately when we were talking to him after practice is just the draft, the combine, pro day, then you get drafted, then you come here. So it's a long haul. It's good to get a summer break in.
Yeah, so we heard from Jerod Mayo before this final practice, kind of set the tone, saying, the gains that these guys have made are going to carry them through to the summer. Let's take a quick listen to Jerod.
Yeah, the message is don't lose the gains that you've made. And either you're getting better or you're getting worse. There is no maintaining, all right? So continue to work out at home and make good decisions off the field. And if you do that, you'll be okay.
So, Evan, we're going to break down these OTAs, our big takeaways just from this summer. The first one being the offensive line. It's a huge question. We know Caden Wallace came in. We've seen Caden Wallace on the left side. We've seen him a little more on the right side. We've seen Michael Onwenu moving around right now. We know Chuck Sikorafor on the left tackle spot. It's so much to keep track of, but it seems to me like one of the biggest question marks on the roster still.
Absolutely, and we get out in these 11-on-11 periods, and just to be honest, it gets a little clunky for the offense, and a lot of it has to do with the pressure on the quarterbacks. We see a lot of pressure in the backfield. I made a joke during Patriots Unfiltered that Christian Barmore just lives in the backfield during these team drills. It's almost like let's take 90 out and give the offensive line a chance, but one thing that we do have to give the offensive line as a caveat here, it's not padded practices, there's not any real contact right now, so it's a little bit like sliding your feet to stay in front of Luka Doncic at the moment or Kyrie Irving, right? So you're not actually getting your hands on anybody, you're not finishing blocks. So as much as we knew this was a concern coming in, I'm still willing to give it a beat to let's see what it looks like once the pads come on in training camp in August and in the preseason games, and hopefully it's a little bit better.
Big part of the problem is that the defense has got a lot of continuity. They got a lot of players back. Their coaches are generally back. They're running the same scheme. They know what they're doing. They spin the dial. They make it really tough. That stands out to me, though, is just, having some of these pieces back. You mentioned Barmore signed an extension. Kyle Duggar signed an extension. You've got some continuity on defense, and you hope that that can kind of hold the fort until the offense gets going.
Right, and you look at last year's draft class at the top. It's great to see Christian Gonzalez back out there, and both of us marvel just watching him move around a practice field, and you can see that he's going to pick up right where he left off in the Rookie of the Month honors last year before the shoulder injury. The other guy that's really stood out, I think, to mostly everybody out here is Keon White, who I think is an interesting player for the Patriots. Hopefully someone that finds a permanent home along the defensive front. We've talked a lot about that. Is he a stand-up guy on 2 feet? Is he a hand in the dirt defensive end? Is he an outside linebacker? We saw him rushing in line a little bit here today as well, so he's made an impact. And you look at that rookie class that we were hoping was going to make an impact last year, maybe didn't quite make the splash because of the injury to Gonzalez. Maybe it's a year 2 leap for all those guys.
All right, the last piece is the biggest one. You guys all know at quarterback, Drake Maye, Jacoby Brissett. We've seen a lot of Jacoby Brissett and Drake Maye, not so much Bailey Zappi or Joe Milton anymore. Still seems like Jacoby Brissett is the top line starter. It was Drake Maye that threw that last pass to Jalen Polk here, but what have we seen from Drake Maye? I mean, he looks like a 3rd overall pick. He's got an arm. He's got tantalizing athletic talent. There's moments. It's not all together yet, but it feels like it's coming.
We're seeing him ride the roller coaster at times, but the biggest thing to me that stands out is those little bit isolated flashes that you're talking about, where he'll just make a throw where you say to yourself, I don't think anybody else on the roster can put that ball there. And whether it's an out of structure, an off-platform type of throw like we saw him make to Polk on Monday, where he steps through the pocket and then throws off 1 foot and dots it towards the sideline, or it's even some of the throws we saw at the end of practice today, just putting high point fades in the back corner of the end zone right on the money. Those are difficult throws to make. Those are 20-yard throws sometimes from around the 5 to 10-yard line that you have to really get back there in a perfect spot. He's definitely shown the flashes. My takeaway with Drake Maye at this point is not if Drake Maye is going to be ready to start early, it's going to be the other stuff. Like, is the offensive line going to be ready for him? Are the receivers going to be ready for him? The Patriots are going to have a tough time keeping him on the bench.
All right, well, that's going to put a wrap on the offseason. We'll be off until, I guess, the end of July. At some point when training camp opens up, we're excited to get back out here. We'll see the guys are going to put in some work, so stay tuned for Patriots.com. We got all your coverage coming up for training camp, but enjoy the break while it can, because once it gets going, the train don't stop till January.